Hi, I'm Tim and welcome to my bio. I thought I'd do this a little differently to give you a better idea of where I've been, what I've done and what my career aspirations are. Okay, so let's start with school. Well, I didn't graduate from high school. It's not that I didn't like learning or I didn't have the ability. The truth is I just wasn't engaged. So how does a kid who didn't like school end up designing and developing an extensive list of learning products and have aspirations to change the way we deliver education? If you can bear with me, I'll condense the last 25 years down into a few minutes and show you how it all came about. So off I go into the big wide world. I tried a heap of different jobs and found I really didn't like any of them. The late 80s came and with it my first exposure to economic recession. Pretty soon, all the jobs I didn't really like had dried up. So while I couldn't find work, I spent a large part of my time hammering out illustrations. I submitted cartoons to regional newspapers and a couple of national magazines and started to get published. Then Prince Charles stepped in with a grant. This was through the Queen's Trust, which was designed to give youth with potential a helping hand. I received training through the Youth Business Initiative. Essentially what that was about was getting a business plan together for a proposed enterprise. Most importantly for me, it introduced the concept of goal setting and strategy, something that became a vital part of my creative career. So here I was with my plan, and my plan showed me some very important stuff. Firstly, traditional cartooning was dropping off in popularity, and secondly, computer-based animation was the way of the future. Like all good plans, I broke my objectives down into easy-to-achieve steps. The first step was to get a haircut. It was the least I could do to thank Prince Charles. The second step was to move beyond cartooning and do animation. In Australia, there are only a few places teaching animation in the early 90s. Arguably the most prestigious was the Graduate Diploma in Animation and Interactive Media at Swinburne University. There were a couple of issues here. One, I didn't have an undergraduate degree, and secondly, there were only 12 places a year and there were hundreds of applications from all over the country to get in. But based on my folio, I was offered a place. After an intense year, I was out to practice, armed with animation skills and a refined career plan that focused on developing interactive learning material. Before I go into detail on the practice side of things, I'll fill you in on the postgraduate qualifications I picked up on the way. I returned to the Centre for Animation and Interactive Media, which was now at RMIT University, as a research candidate and became the first Masters of Multimedia graduate in Australia. I also studied postgrad business in entrepreneurship and innovation at Swinburne University, a fantastic course that stirred a passion for business strategy and development. So back to my career pathway. There are two activities that have supplemented and enhanced my practice immeasurably. The first is ongoing research, and the second is facilitation of on-site, online and blended learning programs. I've delivered programs as an academic staff member at a number of major universities including Swinburne, RMIT and Monash. I was awarded an adjunct professorship at Swinburne University for services to e-learning development. I've been a visiting professor to the University of St Joseph's in Macau for nearly 15 years. In Macau, I lectured into their MBA program using visually based lecture material to present complex business theory. These experiences have had an enormous impact on the visual learning I produce as part of my practice, particularly delivering to learners with English as a second language. My research is focused on trialling and refining visual learning techniques, developing efficient business models and production systems, and exploring a range of communication technologies to deliver engaging learning products. But the main focus of my practice over the last 20 or so years has been developing interactive learning products delivered through a range of communication technologies. In the process, I've helped organisations communicate, educate and hopefully inspire learners in a diverse range of industries. The development experience includes producing soft skills such as leadership development, management skills and diversity training, and hard skills such as IT systems training, software training, work health and safety and inductions. My role has been as a visual and instructional designer, and I either contribute to aspects of development or produce complete learning programs from start to finish. As my experience has grown, I've become more active at a strategic level, developing creative business models for projects, undertaking analysis and planning of training needs, training and inspiring project teams in development processes, and designing exciting innovations in communication and education. More recently, I've gained a lot of experience building and directing virtual production teams using talent from around the world. In addition to planning and development, I also support leaders and decision makers by visualising strategic models and objectives. This allows them to project their message more effectively. This has been very useful for things like negotiation, mediation and stakeholder presentation. In particular, the strategic planning I've been doing with Indigenous leaders in Australia and Papua New Guinea has been very exciting and rewarding. So that pretty much wraps up how my career has progressed to date. With the first half of my career behind me, I've got a clear vision of what I'd like to achieve over the next 30 or so years. It's my belief that visual communication in education will outdate text-based delivery as we increasingly rely on internet technologies to connect with global learners. My career goal is to create strategies supporting the transition from text-based learning to visual learning, and to continually design and develop visual learning techniques to reach, engage and excite a diverse range of learners globally. This includes students of all languages, literacy levels and learning styles. I really appreciate the time you've taken to view my bio. I'll be publishing regular video posts outlining the evolving techniques and systems I use in my practice. If you'd like me to notify you of any new posts, you can visit my website and become a subscriber. Again, thanks for your time.